and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Thursday, June 20th, 2024. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoy this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I'm hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram called the Make 9 2024 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 challenge, where you can choose 9 projects that you would like to work on this year, make a grid of those projects, and then anytime that you post a picture of your works in progress or a finished object from your board, then you can include the hashtag Make 9 2024 Mal, and that will include you in the prize drawing. I draw prizes periodically throughout the year, thanks to generous donations that I've received from viewers of this channel who have sent me lots of wonderful goodies that I can gift to those of you who are participating in the make-along. And I have a few of those prizes to give away today. All of the yarn prizes were gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Kim, and then I have a few other progress keepers that were gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Mickey. So the first prize is 2 balls of this beautiful yarn. It is called Magico 2 Meilenweit, which is German, and it's color number 3504. It is fingering weight 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide. And the colors in these are just beautiful. And you'll also be receiving a little set of 3 progress keepers. I'm going to try to show them. So just kind of a random selection of cute little progress keepers to go along with your yarn prize. And the winner of this prize is Carrie at Carrie Page on Instagram. Congratulations to you, Carrie. For you and all of the winners, if you can just please contact me via direct message on Instagram and let me know your first and last name and your mailing address, and I'll be happy to get these prizes off in the mail to you all as soon as possible. The second prize is a set of Patton's Croy Socks yarn. They're the same dye lot and the same dye lot, but the label on this one got wrecked and torn, so it doesn't have it on there. But anyway, a set of 2 skeins of Patton's Croy Socks. They are 50 grams each. So fingering weight, although Patton's Croy tends to run a little bit thicker in my opinion, it's more of a sport weight in my opinion, because there are only 166 yards for 50 grams. So anyway, it is also 75% wool, 25% nylon, and this one is in the brown rose marl colorway. And then you will also be receiving a skein of Cascade Yarns Heritage, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And this one is in the color number 5683. And I don't think there's a name on this one, just the color number. So you'll be receiving this yarn, and then you'll also be receiving some progress keepers. They're on this little stitch marker type thing, or stitch holder, I should say. Anyway, there's a few little cutie progress keepers to go along with your prize as well. And the winner of this prize is Iris, who is Siren1109 on Instagram. Congratulations to you as well. And the third prize that I have to give away is another assortment of sock yarns. So we have 2 skeins of, they're all Premier Yarn Serenity sock yarns. And we have 2 that are in the soft white colorway. They are different dye lots, however, but with a commercial yarn like that, the color differentiation isn't probably too noticeable. All of these yarns are also fingering weight, 50% superwash merino wool, 25% rayon made from bamboo, and 25% nylon. And there's 4 50-gram skeins here. So 2 of the soft white, 1 in this charcoal colorway, and then 1 in the teal tease colorway. The print on that is super tiny. I just bought myself a pair of reading glasses, but I don't have them handy. But anyway, I was able to make it out. So you'll be getting these 4 skeins of yarn, as well as these little progress keepers. And the winner of this prize is Miriam at Midge Porter Design on Instagram. So congratulations to you as well, Miriam. I'm so excited that all 3 of you ladies won a prize. And again, just let me know your mailing information and I'll get those prizes out to you as soon as possible. Today I am wearing a crocheted headband that I made last summer out of some leftover yarn that I had from a summer top or 2 that I made. And anyway, I just made 2 round simple granny squares, stitched them together into a strip, and then I have a tie on the back to fasten it, and it works nicely as a headband. And it was fun to be able to use up a few little scraps that I had left over from some cotton blend yarns. I have one finished object to share with you all that I was able to make super quickly. I just cast it on yesterday. I finished it this morning. I blocked it this morning. I put it in front of a fan so that it would dry, and it's dry. So I made this cute little beret for my daughter. This is the 3rd time that I have knit this pattern. It is called the Green Gables Beret. It is a drops design pattern. It's a free pattern. And I used a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and the yarn that I used is Louisa Harding yarn in the Cassia line, and it's in the Sorbet colorway. It is a DK weight, 75% wool, 25% nylon. I made the small/medium size, and yeah, it works up so quickly. So you start at the top here, and you just do some really simple increases and some chain stitches. It's all made using double crochet stitches, US terms, and then just some chain stitches. And the pattern is fully charted, so the pattern is not written out fully. There's some written instructions, but it says you need to refer to the chart, and then it's charted. But I am not used to following charted crochet patterns, and I think it's pretty easy to follow that pattern, this pattern. It definitely isn't a beginner pattern. I don't think any drops patterns are beginner patterns, whether they're knitted or crocheted. They're just they rely on the knitter or crocheter to know what they're doing. So anyway, this pattern is not super difficult, but again, I wouldn't recommend it for a new crocheter. I am not going to put it on since my hair is up in a bun, but it fits really nicely and it's super cute. And my daughter requested this because she has a book that she really likes, and on the front cover is a young girl wearing a pink beret, and she showed it to me and said, "Mom, I really like this hat this girl is wearing." And I said, "Oh, that's a beret, and I've made one because I made this pattern. This is the 3rd time I've made this pattern, and I have one of my own that is in the blue color." And I said, "I've made a beret like that. Would you like to try it on?" And she said, yeah, and she did, and she liked it. And I said, "Would you like me to make one for you?" And she said, yes. And the girl on the book cover is wearing a pink beret. And so I said, "Do you want it in pink?" And she said, "Yes, please." And so this will be going to my daughter. She is 13, and I think it'll be super cute on her. She's excited to have it. She was excited that I was able to make it so quickly too. So it was very fun and easy to make. So that's the only finished object I have for this episode. And I am not going to show off all of my works in progress today. I'm only going to show off 4 of them. I have 2 shawls that I have worked on a little bit, but I have done very little on them. And so there's 2 shawls that I am not going to be showing. Those are, if you've watched previous episodes, I've been showing the same projects over and over again that I've been working on for a while. The 2 shawls I'm not going to be showing today are an Italian winter shawl and the Odyssey shawl that I am working on. Like I said, I've made a little bit of progress, but only like an inch. It's just not much to share. Actually, the first work in progress I am going to share is another one of my shawls that I've shown lots of times. And I haven't actually put a ton of inches into, a lot of inches of progress into this project as either, but this is made using lace weight yarn, and I actually have put a lot of time into this project, so I am going to share it. Anyway, it's being held in a project bag that I sewed myself, and it is the triangle garter wrap shawl that I am working on. It is a free pattern by Purl, Soho, and like I mentioned, I am using lace weight yarn, which is a variation from the original pattern. It calls for you to use fingering weight yarn, but I am using lace weight mohair yarn, using up some stash of lace weight mohair. And I'm making a modification to the actual wrap as well, because it's called to be a triangle wrap, and I made the triangle wrap, but I kept knitting, and now I am decreasing my stitches, and eventually I'm going to make my wrap into a square shape that I will then double over and wear folded over, if that makes sense. So I have made a little bit of progress on this. I've decided to work on this every morning. This is the first project I pick up, and I just add 2 rows to it every morning, which isn't a lot, but it takes a little less than a half an hour for me to do that at this point. And yeah, so I have made a little bit of progress. It's not remarkable, but there is a progress keeper showing where I was last time I recorded. And so I have put a little bit of effort into this one. And like I said, I am just doing decrease stitches now, so you can see it's forming a bit of a square shape. And all of the yarn that I'm using is Knit Picks Aloft, except for the bare yarn that I'm using right now. This yarn is just bare yarn that I had gotten when I was dyeing yarn, and so I've just had this mohair in my stash, but it's just bare. All of the yarn though is lace weight and 72% Super Kid mohair, 28% silk. The Knit Picks Aloft colors are white, and then the gray color is called Plover, and then I'm going to work the natural or the bare color for the same amount as the gray color, so they'll be matching in size. And then the last color I'll use is this oat color, also a Knit Picks Aloft yarn. I'm using US 5 3.75 millimeter needles for this project, which is probably also different than the original. I don't remember, but that's what I'm using. And it's just a simple, really simple garter stitch pattern. So now instead of increasing on every row, I'm just decreasing every row by knitting 2 stitches together. Otherwise, I'm following the pattern. It's a very simple pattern. So that's all for that one. Then I have, so you've seen all of these works in progress in previous episodes if you've watched before, but my next work in progress I have to share with you is a pair of socks that I'm holding in this cute little project bag that was gifted to me, and it was made by Stitchin' You Bags. And the yarn that I'm using was also gifted to me by a viewer of this channel. It is King Cole Zigzag yarn in the Frappuccino colorway. It's 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, and I love it. I am knitting these socks for my husband's grandmother, who will be turning 95 in December. But if you met her, you would never believe that she was 95. She still drives. She lives on her own. She paints pictures. You would just never, if you met her, you would never believe she was going to be 95. She is an incredible woman. She just blows us all away. So anyway, she really likes, I gifted her a pair of my knitted socks earlier this year. Actually, she came over one day and said, "Do you have any knitted socks? I want to gift them to somebody," and then she kept a pair for herself, and she loves them, so I'm making her more. Anyway, I cast on 60 stitches using US 0 2mm needles, and I did 2x1 ribbing for 20 rounds, and then I just did plain stockinette. Here is a progress keeper marking where I was last time I recorded. So I haven't put in a ton of work into these either. I only work on these when I need mindless knitting that I don't have to look at, that I don't even have to think about. So I'm just knitting on the foot. I've already done, I'd say about 50 rounds on the foot, and I need to go to about 80. I do 80 rounds. She wears the same shoe size as I do, so that's nice. And so I've got about 30 more rounds on the foot, and then the toe. I did a slip stitch heel flap using some contrast yarn. That is a mini, this was from a mini set dyed by Autumn and Indigo, also gifted to me by a viewer of this channel. And yeah, I think that's it for these. I really love the colors, and I think she will too. She really likes rich earth-toned colors, so that's those. My next work in progress is being held in this adorable bag that I was gifted by Emily of Salt City Knits or Yarn Brary, and I won this in a make-along that she had going on her channel. It was made and gifted to her by Susan of Delightful Works, and I love it. It's so cute. And in here is the Rota sleeveless top that I am working on. I was kind of hoping that I would have this done by this episode, but I still have quite a bit of work to do on it, but I have made a lot of progress. So this is a beautiful design by Irene Lynn, and I'm really, really happy with how it's coming along. Last time I recorded, I had only done the top section of the back piece. So I had only done this back piece up to where that cute little strawberry progress keeper is marking, and I hadn't done any of the other parts. I'd only done that back piece. So since then, I knit the two front pieces here, and then I've joined in the round, and now I'm just knitting the body. Now I am to the part in the pattern. I just passed the mark where you could start the bottom hem ribbing already for a very cropped look, but I tried it on and I decided that it was too short. I like things cropped a lot of times, but that was going to be way too short for my liking. So I'm going to do one more repeat of this gorgeous, I just love the stitch pattern in this pattern so much. I'm going to do one more repeat of this beautiful lattice type stitch before I do the bottom ribbing. So right now I am in another one of these. You can see it has like the lattice section and then a little ribbed section right here, and then it goes back into the lattice type work. Right now I am in a ribbed section, and then I'll do another section of the lattice, and then I'll do the bottom hem, and it's a split hem, and it is sleeveless as the name indicates. Then I'll also go back and pick up the neckline ribbing and the armhole ribbing as well. I also just did a fun little cable according to the pattern. I haven't made any modifications to this pattern except that my gauge is probably off. My gauge is probably loose because I thought I would need to make the second size, but I'm actually making the first size. I actually haven't checked my gauge. I just measured the size of my back piece and realized that it was turning out too big. And so when I first started, and so I ripped out the second size that I had started and started over again using the first size numbers, and then that measured to the size of the second size as far as width. Anyway, I've tried it on and it fits, but I'm saying that my gauge is probably loose because I'm a very loose knitter, and I did go down in my needle size. I'm again using US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. Also, these cute little watermelon things, needle stoppers, were also gifted. They came from Mickey as well, and I kept them because I liked them and I needed some, so they're great. Okay, I feel like I was in the middle of another thought that I didn't complete, but I can't remember. The yarn was also gifted to me by a viewer of this channel. It is I Love This Cotton. It is 100% cotton yarn in the green, apple green colorway. I'm on the second of 3 skeins, so I think I'll be okay. Because I still have half of this, I'm sure half of this, and then another full skein. I think I'll be all right. Oh, I think I was mentioning the cable on the side. So anyway, I just did this fun cable on the side ribbing part too, which I think is really fun. I am enjoying working on this pattern so much. It's you know, you have to pay attention to what you're doing, but it's really not that difficult. So I'm enjoying it a lot. And I'm super excited for the finished object as well. I think the color is really fun. So that's that. And then I just have one more work in progress to share with you today. And I'm very excited about this one as well. So I want to share an update on my Scrappy Hexi flower blanket that I am working on. I've shared with you all the last few episodes, and I have made 4 more flower motifs since I recorded last time. So here is the first one. I was inspired by Sandra Paul of Cherry Heart and Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady. They're both working on variations of a blanket that's similar to this. So Sandra Paul has a crocheted blanket that she is working on, and she has some tutorials on her channel that show how she's making hers. And then Kay is working on an actual sewn blanket quilt top type thing like this. And so I kind of using the crochet inspiration from Sandra and the design placement of the hexagons from Kay's blanket. Anyway, I'm inspired by a few different makers to make this fun flower motif blanket using scraps and fingering weight yarn. I am following my own tutorial for this. However, I have a tutorial on my channel here that I'll link to in the description box below, showing how I make these hexagons and how I join them. In the tutorial, I make 3 colored hexagons, though I change colors 3 times in the hexagon, and for these hexagons I'm just doing each hexagon in a solid colored yarn. So that is a difference, but anyway, I am using a 2.75 millimeter hook for this project, and my plan is to border it with a bare yarn and then piece them together. And I was looking through one of my Afghan books. It's called A Year of Afghans, book 5 by Leisure Arts. And it's quite an old publication. It dates back to 2000. And in here I found a layout of a blanket that has kind of the same idea, and I'm going to use this as a guide for how I'm going to place my motifs. So it will look similar to this. However, I want to make the line across the top straight. So I think I'm going to do just a partial flower in these 4 spots but then also have the cream colored border going all the way around. So where they have green, I will have cream, and all of my flowers are going to be different. But that's kind of an idea of the placement that I want to do for my blanket. And I think it'll be good for the size as well. I laid it out and it kind of looks like that will work as far as having this number of motifs in the blanket. So I've already shown you in previous episodes that I have made 4 motifs. So now I have a total of 6 done. I don't even remember how many that showed, but 18 plus 10, so 28, plus the 4 little half ones that I want to do. I have a long ways to go. Anyway, there's the first one I did. The second one is more like earthy tones. I like the more muted tones in that one. Here's this green colored one. And lastly, this fun one. This kind of reminds me of a pansy, the colors in a pansy. So I think that's really fun too. I'm enjoying working on these so much. I don't know, I'm just enjoying the process of piecing these together so much. And I am so anxious to actually start putting the cream color in between too. But I think I want to make all of my motifs first so that I can play around with how I place the motifs before I start actually piecing them together in, you know, the final thing. So it's going to be a while probably before I start doing that, but I'm really enjoying the process of putting these all together. So that's been super fun to work on. That is all I have to share with you all today. A little bit of a shorter episode for me today, but that's good. It'll be easier for me to edit it and get it up online. And I hope you all enjoyed seeing the things that I've been working on, and I hope that you're enjoying the things that you're working on as well. Thanks so much for joining me today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.